Bradford is quite a unique city for its size.
There's no place, there's no city in the world where you have so many different backgrounds like in one city. It's insane.
I think if you're from Bradford, then you are definitely from Bradford.
Everyone's just too more self-obsessed with a coffee place that will be a wine bar in the evening, that will, you won't get that in Bradford.
I see it as a really positive place where everybody does get along and the city it runs smoothly. Because we're sort of working in music, that in itself is a positive thing.
Eddie's my younger brother, and a year and a half between us, so we've known each other for a very, very long time. He's known me all of his life, and I've known him for most of mine. Yeah, our first bands were with our cousins, weren't they?
Yeah.
But the Pulsating Lentils,
Yeah.
the Demented Hamsters for a bit,
Hamsters for a bit.
Gherkin.
Yeah.
Drum and bass was a big thing for us, wasn't it?
Yeah, drum and bass and
When we
jungle,
first got into dance music, it was all about the jungle, really.
Yeah.
And another important influence, I think, we're originally from Reading, and the school we went to and a lot of our friends were West Indian, and we've always been around a lot of reggae and ragga, and I think that comes out a lot in our music, probably.
Yeah.
And it's a beautiful place. It's a beautiful place. Hey, hey, hey. So don't believe that it's a show. I know it's hard when a nation thinks so. What do they know? They don't know. Oh, live it, believe it. It's a beautiful place. This is a beautiful place. It's a beautiful place. This is a beautiful place. It's a beautiful place. Hey, hey, hey. So don't believe that.
As far as nowadays, Bradford has got it's I think a small but strong music scene.
People from Bradford look to other artists or MCs or whatever from the same city. So there's quite a lot of support for sort of like burgeoning sort of acts.
There's a lot going on here as far as, the social ills. There's a lot of poverty. There's a lot of, to an extent, a lot of racism. There's a lot of, social injustice and social oppression. So there's a lot to talk about living in Bradford, So, and in the same way that what's going on in world politics is, the arts community has responded to that. I think the same thing happens in Bradford, and that's sort of a microcosm for for a wider thing.
The town was actually sort of in a bad state. The recession of the 70s and the 80s hit a lot of people, and then massive unemployment in the 80s when Thatcher took over and started asset stripping industries right, left and centre, and Bradford did suffer. We actually hired the upstairs room of, it's a disused pub now, but it was called the Metropole. Started putting gigs on there in April 1981. And within the first year, I put in regular gigs on every Wednesday night and charging really low prices in, mainly for unemployed, because that's the majority of members, and a lot of bands were unemployed as well. We charged something like 40p in for unemployed and 60p if you were a student or working, so it were really low door prices back then. The basis of the club was self-management. So everybody who got involved, people who worked the door, everybody were volunteers, and the bands got involved and worked as well. Bands were coming from Manchester, were coming up from London, and they wanted to play the club because word had gone out with other bands that we were a cool organisation to do a gig with. So you had bands like the Inca Babies, the Membranes, the Three Johns, Wedding Present. All these bands played early days at the club before they even got anywhere in indie scene.
And the unelected, unofficial Earl
of Bradford, the legendary Captain Hot Knives. Damn straight.
He's such an important, obvious representation of what we create and what Bradford is about. He's the most honest music you're going to find in Bradford.
But I think living in Bradford is a bit mental. And I used to go busking here, and I think that's probably where it started, because I'd be like, I didn't actually know any songs, because I was a bass player. I knew the bass line to loads of songs, but on a street corner, it's just going, you know. Because I didn't know any proper songs all the way through, I just used to like do a basic rhythm. And if someone was coming past, I'd just sing it about them, just to see what happened. Just to like, you know, flag their head, see whether I got a laugh out of them or whether they went mental. And I didn't know what to do, and I used to see people going past and go, "Hey, you in a Metallica t-shirt, your girlfriend looks really nice. What's the phone number? Tell us I'll write it down," and just see if anything happened.
Bradford certainly suffers from stereotypes, whether it's, I mean, maybe not to do with the music scene, but it's a sort of wider community. Bradford suffers from some awful stereotypes, led by its constant name dropping by people like Nick Griffin, which really like me off whenever he says, "Oh, just go over to Bradford, ask the people there. We are the people of Bradford."
Last time I was down in London, I was on a tube and I told some lasses that just started talking about us from Bradford, and they thought I was a racist, like just straight off. Just straight away, like, "Oh, that's proper dodgy place, you're a racist, aren't you?" Like, you know what I mean? How's that about?
And obviously there's going to be conflict, there's conflict about everything, but like as a whole, I don't see that at all. I never see that, never.
The thing is, you go anywhere and you're an outsider looking in, anywhere can look grim. You go through urban inner city London, you go through Birmingham, there's always going to be pockets where you're going to think, "It looks a bit ropey round here, let's lock my doors," you know what I mean? But it's anywhere, man. You could go to, I don't know, out of Mongolia, you're still going to come across a village where there's going to be some bad man with a machete.
There weren't any drum and bass nights going on in Bradford at all, and there was a definite need for it. After we've been doing Revolve for about a year or so, we frequent visitors to free parties around the Manchester area, and they were always revolved around a sound system like in a traditional kind of dub reggae kind of style, but playing more mainstream dance music and stuff. And that really kind of sparked my interest in it, and thought, well, it would be even better if we could have our own sound system. We went for about a year or something, and then the dubstep thing started taking off, and then me and Lewis, one of the other DJs, were probably the only two people who were actually into it at the time. We thought, well, we'll try it out, we'll try to do some dubstep over the night as well. I'm really glad that we got onto it. You know, that's such a,
I think probably that was probably around the time when we started to actually have a semi-decent rig around there.
I'd hope that Fred Knott and other people that I'm working with as well, where we're trying to do something a bit different, play in the rock bars, play in the weird places, play where you wouldn't expect us to play, like that more people will go, "I don't like hip hop, but I like you guys." And that's the, as soon as someone says that to you, when you get off stage, you're like, "Yeah, it's working." Because people are buying it, people are getting the name in the homes that they're wanting to, but it's a lot more effort than just like, "I'm a hip hop artist." Indeed, like sometimes I'll say we're a funk hip hop band to some promoters, just not to scare them off, kind of thing, because a lot of times they will just be scared off.
But initially, we wanted to turn everybody in Bradford into sort of DJs and stuff. It's not the case. No, it's not the case. We soon found out a while after, we've got loads of equipment, loads of DJ equipment. But it's more about the microphone. You know, they want to get on the mic and start doing the lyrics and stuff and making beats. So the emphasis is completely shifted. So we're geared up to do everything really.
Yeah, it's something that they can take and sort of express things in a way that's directly sort of relevant to them as well.
Can you describe Bradford in one word?
In one word, home. I'm afraid that's it. Home. Where I was born and bred, that's it. Home.
I would describe Bradford as interesting. Mick?
Like colourful.
Good word, Mick. I like it. Word.
Potential.
Potential.
Yeah, that's all I can say, really. Yeah, potential.
Dying. It can be saved, but right now it's dying and no one's helping it. Dying.
And pretentious.
Independent.
Good one, Marlon. Commercial.
Different. I'm going to use the
cheap.
Yeah. I'm going to use the old 1970s Bradford campaign word. Surprising.
Go on.
Have you seen those posters? There's a series of posters of Bradford that are ace. It says Bradford and there's a big picture of Bradford somewhere and then it goes, a surprising place.